All right, go ahead.
Hello and good evening, friends. We are meeting in the time of war. We are very far away from Ukraine. I am in India. There are lots of friends joining from India, as in lots of poets. There are lots of poets joining from Europe. We have all come together to express solidarity for Ukraine, to oppose this invasion of Ukraine, to ask for peace. What more can we say? We can go on and on. There was a lot of talking about NATO going on. I hope that someday we will be able to give another dimension to this event and do a sort of a talk show kind of a thing where we can talk about what NATO is to each member state and why should Ukraine be going through this just because it was thinking of joining NATO. And from an outsider's point of view, from people in India, you know, it seems like a gross violation of human rights, that just because they wanted to make an ally, they were invaded by the former colonizer, and the ally now just stands by. So is Biden's statement that an aid is going to mean a third world war, does that suffice? Anyways, our poets are going to talk about this or talk about this in their poems. So the first poet to come here is from Poland. She's joining us from Poland. Alicja Kuberska, ma'am, welcome to you, and please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your invitation. As you know, we are very close to Ukraine because, and this country is our neighbor. So we have a flood of refugees now, and I wrote a poem entitled "I'm Crying for You, Ukraine." My life is like a broken window pane, dreams crumbled into rain from crumbs, and memories hurt painfully. The view outside the window is the same and not the same. Trunks of burnt trees stick up like exclamation marks. The blind eyes of the houses stare blankly ahead. I can't hear the birds and the chirping of the children. The silence is interrupted by the wail of the alarm sirens and the terrifying whistle of falling bombs. How to pack the past into one suitcase? How do I tell my child that there is no home left? How to shut a torn door behind me? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Now I think I am going to go over to Romania. Alexandra, do you want to come up next? And I think that you want to recite with guitar being played by you. So
actually, I'm in Greece. Mirca is in Romania. I'm from Greece.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're from Greece. I don't know why I thought you were from Romania.
No, Mirca is from Romania.
Yes.
I am from Greece. We are from Greece. Okay. Can you see my graphics?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. In the temple high above the sea, a sweet, gentle breeze blows through the orange curtain. And here there is a sweet flame burning in every heart, melting all resistance under the powers that guide us through sorrow and joy, within and without, knowing how not to hurt or be hurt by others, to be proud of ourselves on earth as above, unable to understand, unable to bear cruelty, using our strength to protect, to care for, dancing, dancing to diffuse, in the waves over the waves, transcending higher and higher, wounds, no more wounds, in the sunlight, flying, flying, in the superlight, in the temple, high above the sea, a sweet, gentle breeze blows through the orange curtains. And here there is a clean energy in every flower and tree, soil and water, wind and sun. Our duty to our planet, knowing how to sustain and be sustained by nature. To be proud of all business people on earth as above, unable to understand, unable to bear war, using our kindness to soothe, to comfort, dancing, dancing to transform, in the waves, over the waves, transcending, higher and higher. Wounds, no more wounds in the moonlight, flying, flying in the superlight, in the temple, high above the sea, a sweet gentle breeze blows through the orange curtains. And here there is a safe haven for every child, woman and man. Our duty to mankind, knowing how to treat and be treated by others, to be proud of all rulers on earth as above, unable to accept, unable to bear degradation, raising our human hearts to be noble, to create values, dancing, dancing to be sublime, in the waves, over the waves, transcending, higher and higher. Wounds, no more wounds, in the starlight, flying, flying, in the superlight, in the temple, high above the sea, the sweet, gentle breeze blows through the orange curtains. And here there is a unity of people from all nations, unlocking the gates of our minds and our hearts into salvation, knowing how to forgive ourselves and others, to be proud of humanity on earth as above, unable to accept, unable to bear discord, raising our human souls to be noble, to uphold values, dancing, dancing to render sublime, in the waves, over the waves, transcending, higher and higher, winners despite our wounds, into the rainbow light, flying, flying in the superlight, flying, flying in the human divine superlight.
Thank you so much, Alexandra, and thank you so much to your husband for that very touching piece. And now,
beautiful and touching.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaste.
thank you. And now I think I want to come to Asia, to India, and I am going to ask Santhosh Alex to please present his poem.
Warm greetings from India. It feels so nice to be with all the poets across the globe, to be in solidarity with Ukraine. My poem is in Hindi. I would like to read it in Hindi and then quickly read its English translation. It's titled Yuddha. युद्ध के दौरान श्री कृष्ण ने रथ पर सवार होकर उपदेश दिया अर्जुन को। महाभारत काल से युद्ध होता आया है, 5 और 100 के बीच युद्ध। 5 लोगों की जीत हेतु 100 लोगों की हत्या की गई। कुरुक्षेत्र कबंधों से भरा पड़ा है। गांधारी टटोलती हुई गिर जाती है। दिन एक और बीता युद्ध के मैदान में। उम्मीद में बैठे हैं लोग कि काश कोई नोहा उन्हें अपने चाप में जगह प्रदान करे। The English translation goes like this. War. During the war, Sri Krishna on his chariot gave instructions to Arjuna. War happened since the days of Mahabharata. War between 5 and 100. Hundreds were killed for the victory of 5. Kurukshetra is filled with torsos. Gandhari fumbles and falls down. The citizens expect a Noah. Maybe he would give a space in the ark and save them. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Indeed, the is an epic war and an epic war story. Basically, we know about Mahabharata from this text called Mahabharata or Gita and all of that was written at that point in time. You know, that's the way we know history or prehistory or mythologies from some scriptures. So it is all about, it's a war poem. So thank you so much for that. Santhosh, Alex T, we are honored and delighted to have you here. And now I think I'm going to go over to the United States and ask of Whelan, could you please present your poem?
Yes, thank you. It's a complicated and tragic situation. I have a quick haiku followed by a short poem, if that's okay. The haiku goes like this. Darkness without sleep, flakes whirling in squalls of ash, a blanket of bombs. Darkness without sleep, flakes whirling in squalls of ash, a blanket of bombs. And then if you read the Coal Mountain book of Chinese poems, you'll see the references to number 54 in this called Coal Mountain. You cannot walk over them as if they are a filthy mat to roll up and shake away their will like dried mud. They have freely chosen to bask in a field of sunflowers under the blue of an open sky. They have decided to ignore your contorted red tongues pleading twisted supplications, attempting to convince them that straight ruled lines are more beautiful than winding pathways through woodlands or the random markings in marble. You insist that shards are jewels and charred bent iron is gold. Your help is no good for anything except to leave craters in the earth, plumes of putrid smoke, and holes in crumbling walls where only weeds can grow. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for that powerful haiku and the powerful poem. And now I think I'm going to go over to the UK and invite Dominic Windram to please present his poem.
Thank you, Pankhuri. My poem's simply called War in Springtime. So war in springtime, wintry winds still blow through grey hollowed out buildings, yet green swells bleed through hard dry skulls because it's springtime. This year she offers a strained transcendence, now a shadow of her former hallowed self. There are few glimmers of hope, it seems. The light is perhaps a little kinder. It might enter through the cracks in swollen empires. Oh, who wants to be condemned by cold steel systems? Flesh pink and milk white blossoms defy the constant shelling, and yet the corpses cannot be gathered up. Dogs are viciously pulling burnt bodies apart on plague city streets as though they're merely saplings. Here in England, it is the hour of the hyacinth, of the lamb and the leveret. Even in old bones, the primal pith is stirred and a deeper purpose is rekindled. Yet over there, despair has taken hold of the sovereign soul. Thus, for the victims of war, there is no blithe season of blessed rebirth. How bitterly ironical.
Indeed, how bitterly ironical. Indeed, the whole situation is like that, and everybody feels so helpless. And we all, I think, wish for the war to end, but I don't know what's going to happen, right? So if there is anybody who wants to also maybe just quickly say something about that, they are welcome to do so in their turn, or maybe later once the poetry session is over, as to, what do you think is going to be the outcome of this. That was very nice, in War in Springtime. Thank you so much, Dominic. And now I think I am going to go over to Romania and ask my dear friend Mirca to please present his poem. Can you hear me, Mirca?
I think, I apologize, Pankhuri. I think I have some signal problems. I hope you hear me now.
Yes, I do. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I haven't heard you 1 minute ago. Now I am able to hear. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor. And I hope, just like all of us here, that the peace will triumph, and that until the end, this war will stop and the human lives will be saved and spared. I will read something that I wrote about the psychological pressure those people are in during this situation, and about what how they feel life around them. I have to say also that, as far as I remember, it is one of the poems you translated into Hindi. Eclipse. They bought us a yearly ticket for metro even before we were born. We took the metro to the maternity, hospital, to the nursery, school, to the kindergarten, to elementary school, to secondary school, to the university, to work, and to our retirement. We are not passengers anymore. They just transfer in our country from one surface to another. We are not afraid like them of what can be below or inside, since we know very well that below us there has been nothing for a long time, and not even above us, let alone above them. We are only afraid of the Midnight Express. It does not stop anywhere. It even does not have a driver. And so it cannot break at all. And we are also afraid that one day all the trains will become Midnight Expresses, and that we will never hear again, "Final stop, please leave the train. Final stop, please leave the train. Final stop. Please leave the train. Thank you.
Thank you to you. Yes, I remember translating this in Hindi, and it has been published in very many places and will be in my book as well, as will be poems by Alicja and so many here. But that is different. This is a powerful poem about how mechanized our lives are getting. But I remember you mentioned the maternity hospital, and I think that we've all seen that footage, and we are just, you know, I mean, there are no words to express it, the kind of things we know what war is made up of, but it's just unimaginable that it can happen in 2022. And the potential ally will just stand by and just, you know, not do anything. I think I am just kind of deeply shocked by that. So that's the situation. But anyhow, our next poetess, I think she's also from Romania. Nicoleta, can you please unmute yourself? I think you are still named as Dominic Williams, right? So just before, yes, my dear, before you read, we will also type your name there. So can Dominic please help me with this? Dominic Williams, can you please help me type Nicoleta Crate's name there? It's just very simple, Nicoleta, Nicoleta. I think that will also do.
Is that correct, Nicoleta?
I am just writing it on the chat.
Thank you.
See.
Yes, it's correct.
It's
correct, Nicoleta, it's done.
Yeah, because I couldn't see it.
Think,
yeah, it's like this.
Here, Nicoleta. Oh, okay. It's already done. Okay, it's done. Do you want to also read your poem, Nicoleta?
Yeah. I'm going to read a poem which I wrote about some years ago. So it is not very recent, but I think it's quite appropriate for the situation. It's a poem I translated I translated into English, so I'm going to read the English translation. Yeah. Okay. Let me just find it. So the poem is called Enlightened Poem. Fear has sat at the basis of the world to take a rest. Above its head, some ants were smashing seeds. 1, 2, 7, 9. But here is how from the right ear a religion has risen, bearing long legs. The middle worshippers would worship her. The left worshippers would worship her as well. Even the worshipped ones would also worship her. And too much conquered would have been there in the world, hadn't it been. But there is how from the left ear, rage was growing up from final moods floods. Worse, the right worshippers would worship them. Even the worshipped ones would also worship them. You just hold me the candle so that I could write. Yeah, so that was about it.
Thank you. Starting from fear and taking us all over this concept of reverence and whatnot. Thank you so very much. We all hope that fear ends. We have to not fear for anybody's safety. We all have near and dear ones. And even if we don't have near and dear ones, exactly in every city of Ukraine, we still are so fearful about it. So I think peace is very, very important. I think now we are going to go over to Bangladesh and invite my dear friend Toufiz Zohur to please present his poetry.
Thank you very much, Pankhuri Sinha, to invited me here. Such a beautiful platform today. Across the world, there are so many important poets and poetess are here. We are really sorry to say that the world is not well now because the war is running in Ukraine, you know, and everybody knows. So we don't need any war. We need peace, and we want to build up a rose garden around the world. Thank you very much. I am going to reading my poem, and title of the poem is Let the world be a rose garden, not war. Fighter plane flies with hope and resentment. Civilization sink in the dust of heat. The missile came down quickly, like a Pankhuri hunter. How far the world has gone. Now listen to the song of the dust. Children sleep in the coffin in the crumbling city. The music of humanity does not touch into stone heart of Namrud. Fire never blooms the bloodroot. The soil in which the green crop born up, missile ignite the fire of hell. People want forest, seek happiness in the embrace of love. With the silver sun floating in the current of wind, vision fly in the open sky. Oh, six-pack equestrian, take down the fighter plane from the sky and fly the vision. Let's come to see the full moon. Let's build a rose path. The way the children will walk to school, the lover will wait with a garland of beauty, belly flowers. Devil has never walked that path. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Amen. Amen. May your rose garden, may your rose wall come into being, and may it come soon. Right? Amen. May the lovers walk this earth and not devil. So let us pray for that. Okay? Let us pray for that as we pray for peace. And now I think I am going to come back to India and ask Ma'am Harinder Cheema. Please, warm welcome to you, ma'am. We apologize for the inconvenience. All the, sometimes technology just baffles us. Please, warm welcome to you, ma'am. Please present your poem.
Thank you so much, Pankhuri. First of all, my heartfelt gratitude to you, because this is such a meaningful meet today that we are having. We are raising our voice against war and for peace. And this is the most important thing, because any initiative and no initiative for peace is small. Even a single voice makes a difference, because, and I say that as a soldier's wife who has witnessed Kargil war. So death, destruction, uncertainty, pain, there is not even a single positive word to describe war. I don't know why we have it. So let the peace prevail. With that, I'm sharing a poem of mine. The earth is crying again. We stand with Ukraine. So the poem goes, the earth is crying again. The earth is crying again. And this time it is Ukraine. Bombs are tearing its chest. The noise can be felt by both the East and the West. A tale of horror is being written again. There is death, suffering, and pain. I think it was only right that nature had locked us inside, for we do not know how to behave. When we should have learned to celebrate life, humans are back to digging graves. So that is what we are doing now. And this is an expression right from the heart. And believe me, this is a soldier's wife who has seen bodies turning into body bags in a war.
Yes, and I think that we've also all seen that, there are mass graves being dug up in Ukraine.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So it's I just hope that, this doesn't just drag on, I think, because I'm sorry, but there is no point, reducing a nation to rubble. And I mean, I know that the morale is very high. We all are watching television, and we are, I think, all stupefied by the kind of daily, nightly debates that are happening between representatives of Ukraine and other countries, when you see the footage of what kind of things are happening. So thank you for that heartfelt, very evocative poetry of yours, and thank you for the reference to the Kargil war and all kinds of things that happened in there. May we always have peace everywhere. And now I think that we have another very pressing
so
spelling
much.
mistake name. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, Ranjana Sharan Sinha, ma'am, I think your name is also not spelled correctly. If you can unmute yourself. Dominic, I'm going to have to request you to please correct this for me as well. She is spelled with our friend Mick Mezza's name,
Yes.
who's also from Australia. I think he has already joined us because he just now messaged that he's joining. And ma'am's name is Ranjana Sharan Sinha. So if you can just, ma'am, if you can just, wait just a minute. I will do this. I'll just type your first name. Dominic, can you please help me? Just type ma'am's first name, R-A-N-J-A-N-A, Ranjana. So that will be great.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We apologize, profound apologies. Thank you so much, Dominic. Thank you for your great help. I think Dominic also shared the link for me and for many others in the group. So thank you. Apologies again for the whole technical goof up, but like I said, we are meeting in the times of war. So might as well, ma'am, we might also listen to your poetry. She's again a great poetess from India. So please, ma'am, do present your poem.
Should I present my poem?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Is there an
Okay.
audio problem? Okay, no.
Yes, sometimes it comes and goes. Now, am I audible?
Okay.
Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes. I think it is my signal.
So, hello everyone. Greetings from India. It's a great honor to share the platform with you all. I'm grateful to our host, Pankhuri Sinha, for the invitation and the opportunity she provided. Well, the world is burning today. The world has been torn apart by a war. What we need is peace, peace, and peace. Let peace prevail everywhere in this world. And here goes my poem. The title is Save the White Dove. The sun has started. The sun has started painting the ebony sky with a myriad of hues. But the riot of red and orange dampens my mood as I think of bestial acts of man. In his greed to gain power, he has blasted peace, beauty, and harmony of the earth, a paradise for the creatures, God's carefully crafted creation. Feeling an exhilaration from flying high, like hapless Icarus with wings fixed with wax, forgetting the warning shots of nature, ignoring the tears of humanity. We have begun our plunge into the sea of destruction. War, genocide, bloodshed, atrocities, and the resulting traumas, mental, physical, emotional. Peace is seeking shelter, restless amid violence. Stop the futile march and save the blue planet from morphing into the red planet Mars. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We all need to save the planet. Thank you for that powerful poem, ma'am. Thank you so very much. And I was thinking of going to go over to Rebecca in UK, in Wales. I think she's just away from the Zoom right now. So I think we will go over to Dominic himself. But my brother, I'm going to have to request you to be with us till then, because, you know, technology has been tricky today. So I think I'm going to request you to be with us, for the whole time. So don't leave even after you've read. Please, I would request you to present your poem. Thanks.
Thank you, Pankhuri. Thank you to Pankhuri for organizing this event, and thank you to Don for hosting it. We are in sad and terrible times, but it is a joy and a privilege to be able to join my fellow Poets Without Borders to stand in solidarity today with the people of Ukraine, the people of Russia, the people of all of those neighboring countries who are providing refuge for Ukrainians who are leaving, and those countries for whom this is having an impact that we are not hearing of, as we heard from Xanthi earlier in Greece, and I think particularly of the Belarusians, who just 2 years ago we were supporting dissident writers who are suffering from the Belarusian government, and now that Belarusian people, how do they feel about being seen to be part of the invading force? So I'm going to read a poem of mine that's about displacement. I am a rather elderly man. I remember my father's mantra as he patted his pockets before leaving the house: money, pass, cigarettes, matches. They brought me here after the railway. I was at the birth of the crane. They have taken the place where my grandchildren worked. They have moved them outside of the town that is home. As a child, I played here, creeping through the magic gates to dance, leaping from log to timber on this lumber-laden street. I remember my sad friend who built his castle, crashed through the timbers with the weight of the bankers. I remember the beautiful boy who went to England, but returned to a tragic Stockholm alley. My brothers and sisters knew Vigans and the promise afforded by stretched skin. I have rehearsed my funeral march, proud stallions down the Storgarden, erected a graveyard plinth. They will put me in a home, so close to a new path, to an old forest. I remember that my father was a sailor, and he never learned to swim until he left the sea. Thank you, Pankhuri. I will stay, my laptop will stay with the meeting. Yes, we talk about technology. I was in 2 Zoom meetings at the same time on 2 different computers, and I have to leave at some stage because I'm going to another event this afternoon. But I won't leave my laptop. I'll leave my laptop turned on, and that co-host will still be running.
I think it's okay, Dominic. We're sort of under control now. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I love that line. I have rehearsed my funeral march. So that was just amazing. And I am not making light of things, but for my funeral march, whosoever is present has to come wherever that happens. So that is a deal that we are going to make tonight. Okay? So everybody present. I'm not making light of things, okay? So now, thank you, Dominic, so very much. And now I think I am going to call Louisa, ma'am. I know that she lives, I think, in the USA. Is that correct? And I have a feeling that, yeah, you have to unmute yourself. And I have a feeling that you are originally from Italy. Is that also correct?
Well, I'm from the US originally, and I'm living in Jamaica in the West Indies. And my ancestors were from Sicily and Italy. So I'm sort of a little bit of everything. And this poem was actually inspired by a journey that had to do with a 30-year war in East Africa, and a family I helped give refuge to. And I did an adaptation. It's a long, long poem, but I did an adaptation. It's in my book, and it's adapted for this terrible situation. And tragically, after 30 years of war, life in Eritrea is still not life. And so we are definitely getting the wake-up call, peace, peace. This is called A Poem for Peace in Ukraine. Fix your eyes on 1,000,000 stars in the black dome of sky, stars that do not shine but spit hellfire. Look on our sweet earth, parting, exploding, earth our mothers and fathers worked with sweat. Look, but don't walk on it. It may become your gravesite tonight. Look now at our hospitals, schools bombed, turning to rubble, our citizens murdered, fleeing, destroyed before our eyes by missiles far and wide. See the flowers, the rose petals, only the thorns are left. This is my song today, yes. Think of those you love. Now think of losing them. Multiply it 5 million times and your loss will have touched mine. My name is Ukraine. My name is Eritrea, Somalia, South Africa. My name before and after the European remains. The scar of many tears cover my face, my struggle and endless battle cry. Was my beauty the cause of this, or the buried treasures within my land that attracted so many of them? Turk, Russian, British, Arab, Greek. Too many to name have come and ravished me. There's so much greed. Instead, I would prefer to speak to you of our customs, our landmarks, our dress, our cathedral at St. Michael and St. Sophia, our central square in Kiev, Odessa, our port, the tunnel of love, Pashka, our bread, or the dolls we make, our sea, and the chocolate of Lviv. We are many people, our history is long. Now our sea has turned red, red with the blood of my children. Wars are interminable separations. My children now refugees or dead. Who will pay the blood debt? We are still fighting wars of possession. We are not yet making unity. We are not yet making peace. Today, I call myself human being. Will you join me? All of the people make one color of light. Why stay in the dark? The speed of light is great. Just imagine where we can be.
That's a very powerful poem. I remember that one. My name is Eritrea, but you have really, adapted it, as you say, to this Ukrainian thing as well. I mean, it's a very beautiful poem. I'm sorry, beautiful is the wrong word. Like you say, was it my beauty? Do you know what I mean? Ukrainians are amazing people. They are amazing people. And I just hope that they get peace soon. So thank you so very much. Thank you. And now we are going to call the other Italian person in the room. I think she's joining from Switzerland. Are you joining, Lucilla, my dear, from Switzerland or from Italy? She has been touring all over the Europe. And after Lucilla, we'll go back to Rebecca. Rebecca, we did come to you, so we will come back to you after Lucilla, so be there. And yes, Lucilla, warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining. Thanks.
Hi, Pankhuri. It's incredibly important that you're doing this event. I'm really happy that we can at least voice our feelings, because, as I'm quoting Neruda, poetry is an act of peace. Peace goes into the making of a poet as flour goes into the making of bread. And we are, because we are, as I was saying to a good friend of mine just a few minutes ago, we are dreamers, we are visionary, and our task as poets is to pass on history. That's what we can do. We can talk, we can write, to pass on history, because as long the memory remains impressed in our skin, in our blood, we can hope that history will not be repeated. So my poem now In Italian and English, it's not too long. Da qualche parte, ai confini del regno, si intrecciano di nuovo brandelli dissonanti, traiettorie profane, linee curve che stracciano il rosso dei papaveri, mentre sui cancelli chiusi inciampa il sogno luminoso di una sola terra. Brucia l'Europa sui balconi, brucia sbattuta contro i muri, sulle reti vite, vestiti e scogli appesi ad asciugare. E questo eterno andare, ritornare di sibili, di orrori, di agonie, pietà. Infilo la mattina nello zaino, nel silenzio, perdiamo le persone, i loro nomi urlano nell'erba, ognuno figlio di una madre orfana. Ma qui, dal volo di un uccello, è ancora casa questo mondo. Primavera senza lingue, senza più confini. E quanto azzurro è ancora il cielo. Portiamo tutti un sasso sulla prima vertebra. Somewhere at the edge of the kingdom, dissonant shreds intertwine again, profane trajectories, curved lines that tear puppies of blood, while the bright dream of a single home stumbles on the closed gates. Europe burns on the balconies. It burns slammed against the walls. On the barbed wire, lives, clothes, and rocks are hung out to dry. And these eternal coming and going of hisses, of horrors, of agonies, of mercy. I put the morning in my backpack. In the silence we lose people, their names scream in the grass, each one son of an orphaned mother. But from here, from this bird flight view, this world is still home, spring, without languages, without borders, and how blue the sky is still. We all carry a stone on the first vertebra. Thank you.
Thank you so much to you for that powerful poem. I think my signal has a problem, but never mind, never mind. So thank you, Lucilla, for that powerful poem and powerfully presented as well. And I think that now that we have read so much for peace, I am myself feeling somewhat a little better, although I have no right to, do you know what I mean? We need respite in Ukraine, and I hope that our voices can make some difference. I hope that there is peace. And I have a question. Anybody is free to answer it in very, very brief way. Do you think it is fine and fair to just fuel this war? Do you know what I mean? I think you understand the question. Everybody does. It's a big one we were discussing. So anybody who wants to take it on is free to do so in their turn or later. So now I think, like I said, we'll go over to Wales, to Rebecca. And Rebecca, most welcome, warm welcome to you. Please present your poem.
Hello, thank you. And thank you for inviting me. It's a great honor to appear alongside all of your incredible poems. I'm sorry I missed you earlier. My daughter came upstairs and she's hurt her leg, so I'm kind of on call for her. The poem I'm going to read is called Aldermaston. Aldermaston is a nuclear development facility in the UK, and it's been the site of peace protests since the 1960s right up to now. So that's the background to my poem. And it starts with a peace protest song as well. So this is Aldermaston. Gonna lay down our bombs and guns down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down our bombs and guns down by the riverside, ain't gonna study war no more. Here, where the sky is darkened by impenetrable walls, barbed wire, pinioned flesh welters wet and purple to sacrificial thorn. bruised, disconsolate rain slicks and sucks at concrete, and beyond, hunks of grey tear at the clouds, shrouding out their dark secrets. Here, bronze-faced and barefoot, we dance. The beat of drums throbbing out the scarred silence dares the heart to beat, the soul to breathe. Pinned to the fencing, a framed picture of a child and a message. This is my grandson. He is not yet 6 months old. I come here because I want him to live. Here, where barbed wire pierces the sky, our love letters flutter like flags. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that very powerful poem, Rebecca. And now we are going to go over to the United States again and ask my dear friend, Richard Spisak. Warm welcome to you, and please present your poem to yourself.
Thank you so much. Again, it's such a pleasure to be with such an august company, speaking so eloquently what we all want for peace. I have to lament first, when I look through my list of anti-war poems, I have too many anti-war poems, but I wanted to offer you this one. It's my little prayer for war, for the wisdom that leads us away from this terrible, terrible thing. It's called, I don't like war, never did. I do not like war at my door. I do not like it on the steps. I do not like it. It is not hep. I do not like war here or there. I do not like war anywhere. Not on the screen, not on the telly, not when it turns some kids to jelly. I do not like it on the streets. I do not like it. We aren't just meat. I do not like war on some folks, not black or brown or white or yellow, not even killing some other fellow. I do not like it when it makes us broke. It gives no joy. It brings no hope. The broken wheel, the coughing choke. I do not like what war does to them. I don't like when buildings are strewn. I do not like it when war kills kids. I do not like it. I never did. Not in the sky, not in the water, not on the sun, not on the daughter, not even if just old men might die. Don't they even wonder when or why? I do not like those loud explosions. I do not like patriotic conclusions. I do not like it. It is dumb. I do not embrace what it brings, what comes. They plunder the pain, the urban renewal. Looks like some monsters, the buildings jewel. Yes, I know the Poles will use it and the victims pile up. They did not choose it. Makes more enemies than it kills. That some seem to like it gives me chills. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Wow, Richard, I have to say that was an amazing poem. You know what? Simply is just its beauty. It was just so nice. I do not like war, and beautiful rhythm, and just absolutely beautifully, said. I mean, in beautiful verses with so much poetic beauty. Thank you, Richard. Thank you so very much. We are honored. We don't like war. I mean, it seems like you just said what I have been wanting to say. We don't like war. We want it to stop. Please stop, right? So thank you, my brother, again. Thank you. And now we are going to go over to Greece and ask my dear friend Xanthi, who was also very troubled. And I'm going to ask her to also say a little bit what she was talking about, which I missed because I joined late and because there was, this technical thing to be sorted out. So if you can also say a little bit of that, Xanthi, and then read your poetry. Thank you so much and warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a real pleasure being here together with all those voices. And we connected earlier before it all started. And we talked a little bit about how little information we actually have in this high-tech, fast-speed internet world we're living in. It is really frightening that I came to know from soldiers who are serving at the moment in Greece that we are called NATO countries. We don't have sovereignty anymore. And we have in Greece stationed at the moment 40,000 American soldiers, actually, because they are mostly Americans in the NATO forces that are serving in Greece. And they are building, if you can imagine that, they're building on Greek soil a NATO harbor in Alexandroupoli. It is mind-blowing, and it is this poem Louisa Calio read. My land is called. I picked up that line. My land is called Greece, and now it's called NATO. You know, I connected really very much with that, and the change of the history, how they just, you know, write over it. And it's not that long ago that the bombs were falling on Yugoslavia. Let's not forget that was not even 50 years ago. That was in, I think, in the 80s or in the 90s, where they destroyed Yugoslavia completely. And now you have all these small countries to deal with. So this is because people were standing in disbelief how they could do. Well, capital and oligarchs and people who have the power don't care about other people's homes or about other people's homelands. And this is the saddest of all. So I want to say that I stand with all the people that they are oppressed, that they have to leave their home, that they're against whatever is going on in their country, like I am, appalled with Greece, that they are giving Ukraine bombs to continue the war. They should stop the war. And I also have information that the Ukrainians were bombarding Ukraine, which is so sad. It's I can't imagine it. So I wanted to read another poem, but I will read The Song of Sirens, because the other poem is not being published yet, and since it belongs to a competition which I've recently won, I don't want to spoil that. So, The Songs of Sirens. The songs of sirens are threatening the survival of mankind, and a war is bombarding at the same time the present, the past, and the future of humanity. Bullets and bombs are hitting the spheres and spherons of humans, destroy communities, disturb the sound of nature and the rhythm of mankind. War kills the truth first. War kills the trust between us, pulls love apart, pulls the carpet under life's feet, silent and disbelief, still without movement, when bombs are having the stage of the world. Deaf we should be, or fill our ears with wax, like Odysseus' companions, not to keep steering away. Like Odysseus' companions, to keep steering away from destruction and death. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Xanthi, for all that you said. And I think that we will have to, organize another meeting to talk about it. And I think we should. It's meaningful. So we will do this again. But for now, thank you for all of that info. It's very important. And I agree with you 100%. So thank you for, sort of saying that let us not supply ammunition to Ukraine, and we can, at the end of it, we can talk about this for about 5 minutes, because I think that some people feel other way around. But I really think that there is no point, we just, anyways, so we'll talk about it at the end, and I think that it's very, very important that the war should end. But anyways, I think I'm overwhelmed, sorry. Sorry, but thank you for that poem. And what I was wanting to say is that congratulations on winning that lovely, the prestigious award. I'm forgetting the full form, but the Gandhi something. I don't want to just say GGHC or something like that, the Gandhi Foundation or something like that. It has. Can you please unmute and say the name of the award?
Global Harmony Association. And it's a quite prestigious association. You have to be invited to participate. There is a competition, I think, every year. And I was invited, and it is a very difficult, actually, competition, because you have to read all the science which is around it. And there is quite extensive science around this theme of Gandhian philosophy, which was not very inspiring at the beginning, and you have to really twist your mind to get into the touch, because it says that war beaten by another war, it needs a completely different kind of thinking to solve problems which we are creating out of a war consciousness. And this is the big information which coming from that. We need all more peace education which is around
Absolutely.
Peace, and I think how to connect with other people. And I think we in this group, which is Poetry Without Borders and Poets Without Borders, I think we're already doing this by exchanging all this information and bonding with other people on a very deep level.
Thank you. We are really honored, and thank you for being a part of this group. Thank you for all the precious information, and congratulations again on the award. And it's not just a celebration, but it's sort of a, it's making a point, an important point, that the poem of yours I read very carefully once at night and then again this morning. I apologize, I have pups in my room. Please bear with them, they're tiny creatures. It's just my love of life. So what I wish to say is that why didn't you read that poem? That poem, an award-winning poem, deserved to be read here. Why did you think it would spoil it? So we have to do this again, and you have to read the poem, okay? So thank you so very much. And now I'm going to go over to Australia and ask my dear friend Mick Mezza, and then I'm going to come back to India and ask Seema ma'am to present. So to Australia, to my dear friend Mick Mezza, a fine poet. Warm welcome.
Hello all. Okay, the poem is called Audible. Am I audible? Thank you. It's called Cavalier. Foreign policy taxes democracy, peace from the barrel of a gun. The horsemen ride, economies cry, demand and supply. Oil well guarded, fuel for votes, politicians played king of a castle made from shifting sand. Populations freed from oppression where only the dead remain and the dead don't grieve. So please of peace, soldiers are ease when the horsemen sneeze. Death's odour drifts on the breeze, once oases, now dead trees. Hear the people's pleas, just release peace. Maybe this time a rough horse roams the meadow, a rough diamond in its eyes. Hard lessons learned, hoof beats distract, attract, a white mare canters by. Peace in our world. Mane erect, follows, gallops by sides and greets with a kiss and love in our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Mick. Let's release peace, right? We need peace. peace in our hearts and peace around. Thank you so very much, my dear friend. And now we are going to come back to India, and I'm going to ask Seema ma'am, Seema Jain ma'am, fine poetess joining us from, I think, Punjab. Warm welcome to you, ma'am. Please present your poem.
Thank you so much, Pankhuri. And first of all, it is indeed a great opportunity for me to connect with so many distinguished poets from all across the globe. And I think it's a very timely initiative that you have taken. Thank you, Don Krieger and Dominic Williams and Pankhuri and everyone who has organized this event, because I think it's very important to express our solidarity with the people of Ukraine at this juncture. We are passing through a very difficult time in human history, and because poets are the conscience keepers of the world, so I think every voice counts, and the powerful expression of so many poetic voices, I'm sure it will be effective and it will convey the right message to the whole world. And now, before I present my poem, I would like to make a reference to the beautiful lines in English translation of Sahir Ludhianvi, the great Indian poet. A few lines on war I would like to quote. He says, "Peace is the first casualty with the killings of humans. Peace is the first casualty with the killings of humans, be it east or west. Whether cannons fall on homes or borders, it is only the spirit of creation which is wounded. Whether it is their fields or ours which burn by bombing, it is human life which is wrecked by starvation. War tanks, advancing or retreating, they only make the womb of Mother Earth barren." So I think this is a timely reminder to stop war. And now I'm going to present my poem, War and Peace. So here it is. The desire for supremacy, like cacti mushrooming in the spiritual wilderness, strews thorns that bleed and lacerate anything crossing its path, leaving behind charred remains of buildings, of schools, hospitals, malls, residential blocks, deserted streets, ruined cities, caravans of people fleeing their cozy homes, once built and decked with fond hopes and dreams, burying them all under the heaps of rubble, making millions homeless refugees overnight. The exploding bombshells, the flying missiles, the billowing columns of black smoke, the fireballs, the blasts, destroying the blooming flowers, innocent smiles. What horrendous tale of a lethal war do they unfold? What lust for power and dominion impels such destructiveness? Alas, no lessons learned from the horrific past, from the colossal conflicts, from Hiroshima, Nagasaki, from the world wars, from Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and this time, unfortunately, it is Ukraine. From the familiar spectacle of the tears of suffering mothers, fathers, aged people, and wailing hapless children, wanting to know what their fault is, frantically appealing for peace, unable to melt the stony hearts of the powers that be. War itself is a problem, never a solution to any issue. Will good sense finally reign? Will peace finally prevail? It has to prevail. The human race doesn't have much of a choice, because violence anywhere is a threat to peace everywhere. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, dear ma'am, for that powerful and bold poem. It is just lost for power, growing like cacti. It was wonderful. Thank you so very much. And now we are going to go over to Bulgaria and ask Sir Tom Phillips to present his poem. And I just want to say this, that I know that I am repeating this over and over again, that, you know, fueling war should also stop. And I think that there must be some people in this room who feel otherwise. And I would also request them, you know, because we will certainly have 5 minutes at the end, and I would really like to hear from them, because I think that Rick and Rick and Bob, I think they feel otherwise as well. So that also is a part of this event that we should, you know, be able to talk about that as well a little bit. So I invite you to, you know, speak about that as well. And I just wanted to say this before inviting Sir Tom. I mean, you know, if there's something you just wish to say about this war in particular, please do so, you know. A warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Pankhuri, and thank you, everyone. It's really good to hear your poems. And when Pankhuri was asking me about this, I think Rick said, yeah, I've got too many anti-war poems. And there is this kind of terrible sense of here we go again. So I do take quite a long time to write poems about sort of what's actually happening now. So this poem was actually originally written in 2003 for a project called 100 Poets Against the War. The war in that case being the invasion of Iraq mainly by the US and the UK, mostly. And so it's a poem that I have a kind of strange love-hate relationship with, in the sense that I really wish I didn't have to read this poem again, but I'm going to. Now, it's called Life After Wartime. Some things never change. The garden bushes wag their beards like arguing theologians, while the orange fists of passion fruit take cover in the leaves. The sky aches with unmapped distances, and the sun hides nothing. At dusk, it surrenders to the moon. When there's small hours muttering in the street, remember it's only someone deciding to go home or go on, pushing the night for the last of the great good times and into a shell-shocked morning after. At least there's coffee again. It takes our minds off the radio, the smooth voice reassurances, the metaphors encrusted like barnacles on every announcement, your almost imperceptible jump at the sound of a pamphlet shoved through the door. Things never change. People wear their silence like a call to bring them luck against drowning. They were parents or siblings or both. They're the ones that nothing surprises. The ones who no longer look up when a jet comes roaring in above the city, framed against the orange sky, picking its way among the towers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir, for that very powerful poem. I could talk a lot about it, but I think that I will save it for later. It's a very powerful poem with so many images. Thank you so very much. And now I think, yes, now I think I'm going to go over to Italy and ask my dear friend, Angie, who's actually from Germany. And I think that I'm also, Angie, is that a right pronunciation of your first name? And
yes,
wait a minute, my dear. Yes, yes, yes. And I just noticed, you know, I'm doing this from a phone. Just a minute. I just noticed that our dear friend, Ratan Ghosh, he is still wearing the name of Dominic Williams. So is Dawn, can we fix that? Please? Or we have to, Ratan Ghosh, ji, warm welcome to you, sir. And I'm sorry, this is a technical goof up. We have all come in as Dominic Williams. I'm sorry, in such tough times, technology can make us laugh. I know. Thank you for laughing with us, because so I'm sorry, Anjay, I'm just coming to you. Because he was, next to you, and that is when I noticed that, wow, we have another Dominic Williams here, then it should be Ratan Ghosh. Don, can you please hear me, and can you please tell me if that can be fixed?
Yes, I'm fixing it now. How do you spell his first name?
Yes, Ratan.
Ah, and Ghosh.
Yes. Thank you so much, dear John. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Ratan Koshi, for your patience. My apologies to you, Anjay. I just thought I'll just fix that. So thank you so very much for joining, and warm welcome to you, my dear friend and poetess. Thank you so very much. Please.
Yes, thank you, Pankhuri, for putting together this wonderful group from all over the world, Poets Without Borders. Somehow we feel like sisters and brothers, but also the Ukrainians and the Russians, they are sisters and brothers. This is a war between brothers, you can say, because it's a man who fight. And because the history of these people began a long time back with the Kievan Rus, which was in the 9th century, which was a prosperous state, which was included both Russians and Ukraine and other states. And so the Russians regard Ukraine as their cradle. So these people are one and the other. Lots of Ukrainians have relatives in Russia. So it's really a war between sisters and brothers. And this war started a long time back in 1989, when the Berlin Wall fell and the border between NATO and Warsaw Pact was 800 miles more to the west. Now the border is right in front of Ukraine and Poland. So the political geographic situation has completely changed. So as Xanthi said, the truth is the first victim of war. And what is so confusing, we really don't know what's going on. We get so many informations, but we cannot differ what is truth and what's not truth. And we know it from all the wars before, no? As Richard said, we never come out of war. That's why I think this war started in 89 when the Berlin Wall collapsed. War between NATO and Warsaw, or let's say the capitalists and the communists, took another dimension. So that old wall in Berlin, impossible to climb over, did not collapse. They sold it piece by piece. Concrete slabs demolished, exhibited as trophies in museums, while the fragments, bloody gadgets, are dispersed throughout the world and multiply in a flagrant war pandemic. Thinking, reasoning, critical spirit overtaken by primordial instincts. And still, we all just want peace, the good ones and the bad ones, set one against the other like two repellent magnets. Peace, a word thrown to the ground, turned upside down, twisted, humiliated, bleeding, suffering, raped for years, eaten away by termites. Only an empty shell remains. Okay, I leave you with this little bit frustrating thought, but I mean, as long as we have weapons and we sell the weapons to countries, and our industrial production is based on the production of weapons, there will be never peace, because the weapons have to be used to produce new ones. So it's a long process, I think, to get real peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anjay. But I feel like saying, why Ukraine? Why this beautiful country? Why suddenly? I know you talked a lot about the history of it. You talked a lot about it. But this I also understand. I understand the gun lobby in the US. I have been a victim of it. That's another story. We will talk about all of that. But I mean, we have to stop it, don't we? We have to somehow stop it. So. Sorry, I am also going to say the frustrating thing again. We all just hope and pray for peace. So I hope that some miracle works out in some way. And thank you for that very powerful poem. And thank you for your powerful insight into this issue. I just want to add very quickly something you said, and that's true. Even Vladimir Putin came out to say, these are my people as well. You said that, they're brothers and sisters. This is a war between brothers and sisters. And remember our dear friend Santhosh, Alex, in the very beginning, he talked about this poem about Mahabharata. That is technically, literally the war between brothers. I think that's very, very relevant. And I go back to his poetry again, because this might be ethnically, they might be cousins, but look at what is happening. And, Tom Phillips had this wonderful line in his poetry saying it's coffee time again. I mean, I asked my friend in Ukraine the other day, are you eating properly? And he said, yes. I don't know how much to believe him, because if he's so surrounded, if he's being shelled all the time, I don't know how things are working. I just read about somebody who was killed to death while this lady, this young girl, I think 25-year-old, she was taking food for the dogs to the dog shelter, and she was killed. So we don't know how horrible things are. Let us just hope that, it just gets better. There is a miracle. Thank you, Anjay, again for that extremely powerful poetry. And now I'm going to go over to Brazil, and my apologies to you, Gelda, again. I just noticed again that you too are bearing the name of Dominic Williams. We've all, been toned here today, and sorry, it's not funny. It is not. We are just trying to sort of, do the best out of the technical goof up. So dear Dawn, I'm going to ask you again for some help. And Gelda's name, G-E-L-D-A. If you can please correct that. And then Gelda, please go ahead and read your poem. Warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, Gelda, could you please start talking? That would help me see where you are.
Okay, hello everyone.
Keep talking, please.
It's Zelda or Gilbert?
Okay.
I hear the Zelda. Is that okay or no?
How do you spell it? Could you spell your name?
G-E-L-D-A.
Yes.
Zelda.
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 I did understand Gilbert. Okay, no problem, my dears. It's first of all my immense gratitude for this opportunity to all you raise our voices against the war. Okay, let's read for you some lines that I have written these days. Is titled the Gratuitous Evil. A Russian bloodthirsty in his total insanity and gratuitous evil destroys brothers, innocent children, civilians, and hundreds of families are now away from their homes. A new diaspora takes place before the eyes of the world, perplexed by such evil, greed, and intolerance. A psychopath infiltrated his country. He holds Europe under the threatening sight of his weapons and nuclear arsenal, ready to be fired at his pleasure, without any relevant reasons. What else could the world and NATO itself do to stop this inhumane war against a minority country in all aspects? The future will give us these answers. For now, thousands of peoples around the world unite in deep prayer as a big welcome hug to Ukrainian people, as if to say, brave Ukrainian, we take it off our hats for your courage and patriotism. We stand with Ukraine. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so very much, Kelda, for that powerful poem. Indeed, we stand with Ukraine. And now I am going to come back to India and ask Poonam Chawla Sood, my dear sister, to please present a poem. Can you hear me, Poonam?
I think she wrote in the chat that she had to leave.
Oh, okay. I will try and reach her. I think she had said that she'll come in late anyway. So let us stay in India and let's go to Kerala and ask Molly Joseph, ma'am, if she wants to present a poem now. Thank you so very much for joining, ma'am, and warm, warm, warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Pankhuri, for inviting me in for this much relevant kind of meet. You know, we are the poets. If we are not to voice the opinion on the state of things that are happening in the world, who else can do it? And I was listening to each poem, each voice from different parts of the globe, how vociferously we were expressing our anguish, agony, anxiety, everything. Yes. So, dear Pauls, I'm so happy to be with you again. And war, it was something, you know, history shows us. It was there in the very beginning. Will mankind never learn? That is a question I am asking through my poem. The COVID, the mighty leveler, the pandemic was teaching us so many things. Still we can't learn. See, times are changing and the stance on which we stand are slipping out. Globally, ecologically, so fragile. So here goes my poem. It is more a kind of probing into what causes the war. Ukraine. Yes, just wait. I'm just picking it up, yes. Ukraine, what falls over you all around are no mere bombshells, but man's aggressive, blind, devilish ego, his crushing, expansionist greed, exploding out to destroy and crush with insolent might. But Ukraine, your might far stronger in worth. How history tells such tales of solid resistance, withstanding waves of oppression. Ukraine, you fight to assert your dignity as a nation. You being the land of sterling people and resources, so covetable. Pity how rapacious eyes fail to see the precious human lives so wantonly destroyed, but focus on the potential wealth that can be amassed or an ideology that can be enforced. Pity the mindset keen on causing havoc, ravaging innocent human lives, inflicting suffering so inhuman. How children, women die on streets. Migrant students live in bunkers with bare food supply, suffocated, waiting for rescue. Our hearts go out to you, Ukraine. Let there be measures taken, right, immediate, through talks of truce, not forceful subjugation. We pray, let good sense prevail, ushering in peace divine. Friends, let us pray for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that very powerful poem. And now we are going to stay in India and we are going to ask Poonam Chawla Sood, my dear sister, please present a poem.
Hey everyone. My poem tonight is from a child's perspective. So it's titled Doll. When I was asleep. Am I audible?
You know, there is some signal problem, it seems. Could you move your phone or laptop, whatever it is that you're using, just a little bit around? Can you fix that? And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is ask Prasanna ji to please present a poem. And, you know, your voice is really breaking. There is a signal problem. It's lagging. Do you know what I mean?
It says that the video has stopped because you
Yes,
cannot start
Poon-
a video because the host has stopped it.
Yeah, Poonam, your voice is okay now. I stopped the video, which is helping with the voice.
Okay, fine. I'll read
Yes.
out the poem. I was
Yes,
asleep
yes.
when, as refugees, my family fled from Ukraine to Poland during the war. The youngest of 3 siblings, I was aged 4. I woke up to realize the stuffed doll my grandmother made for my mother was left behind. How could anyone forget? She too was a family member and not just a toy. In my dreams, I played and prayed. In my dreams, I played and prayed when rescue excavation is carried after war and a new city is built, may she be safe and I get to meet her again someday. Thank you. This was my poem from a child's perspective on war. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for that very touching poem. Thank you so very much, Poonam. And now we are going to go over to my dear friend Prasanna ji. And warm welcome to you. And please present a poem, sir.
It's indeed a great family reunion of kind to express solidarity and to say a few words about the war and peace. Lovely hearing all the lovely poets out here. My respect goes out to all of you who have rendered their soulful utterance. And I have 2 pieces, if you would allow me to read out. One is for those who remain silent, one is for the naked. Here it goes. I said, dude, come on, can't you hear the sound? Where the hell are you? Are you bathing in a bloody war or silently plugged in earbuds for the fear of raising tumultuous roar? I said, dude, don't be just stupid watching gothic visuals by remaining a smooth spectator. Where the hell are you? Don't you have a voice to raise, or do you simply just wanted to hide and run away from the violent rampage? Come on, dude, let us pray for those who are running for their lives for no sin of theirs, for fear of being heckled by the power mongers. I said, dude, just ponder over the plight of sufferers. Just pray. Yes. May not be by pleading the world leaders with your utterance or by leading the processions. I said, dude, hear the wailings of kids, mourning of mothers, the world, and helpless souls. Pen at least a few words of agony, and at least a few words that call for harmony. Dude, come on, can't you hear the sound of screaming sands? Where the hell are you? Come on, dude, raise your voice, yes, call for the cessation of wars. For God's sake, I say, dude, don't be callous, raise your voice for the sake of God, This is for those who remain silent by being mute spectators. And then there I have, if I'm allowed, can I read out another one? An appeal.
You know what, Prasanna ji, I think, it's already past 3 minutes and we are late. So if we can, can we here listen to the other one another time? Will that be okay, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for having.
We'll meet again soon. We'll meet again soon. Now I'm going to go over to Israel, to Isaac Cohen. Please present your poem, dear sir.
Hello, Pankhuri. Hello, Don. Hello, Toufiz. Hello, all my friends in the world. The time is very hard, and we pray God send peace now. Isaac Cohen. Contrast. The divine pair request non-stop bled and bled. The babies want to rest with live parents. No rest. The fire fog the sky, gives the evil a smoke stream. Oh God, please hear the stream, shaking the troll that eats the free world. Alter all killing machines to tools for agriculture. The world needs the world needs your velvety hand. Thank you, Pankhuri, and thank you, all my friends in the world. Isaac Cohen, Israel.
Thank you, dear poet Isaac, joining us from Israel. Thank you. You're a very sensitive poet. Isaac writes very short poems, but very effective ones. So thank you for that powerful poem, dear Isaac. And now we are going to come back to India and ask Ratan Ghoshji, my dear poet friend, joining us from West Bengal. Please present a poem. And I think that after this, it's dawn. And I do want to squeeze myself in at the very end. So I hope that will be fine. So let's go over to Ratan Ghoshji, another wonderful poet from West Bengal. Warm welcome to you. Unmute.
Yeah. Am I audible? Hello? Hello? Am I audible?
You're good.
Yes.
You're good.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. War. Thank you, Pankhuri ji, welcoming me in such a beautiful program. I am going to read my poem because time is very short. I can't say more about war, but I'm going to read a poem entitled Gunpowder. Gunpowder often wakes up to overcast the whole sky with the piercing claws from the hail of lie, only to drown all the angels of heaven into the bowl of shine. Gunpowder often wakes up to welcome the skeletons of the lost past, buried twice in the dust of death, lost and angst. Gunpowder wakes up again and again from the antique blood to taste. Gunpowder awakes again and again from the antique blood to taste. Flying for years in the veins of the hungry beasts, to crucify again the Almighty Christ, to crucify again the Almighty Christ. That's the poem. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Pankhuri. Thank you, all the members, honorable members and honorable poets.
Thank you. Very short, crisp, and said it all. Thank you. Thank you so very much. It is, you know, it is said that Christ died for to save the mankind and for all the goodness, and that is exactly what is happening again. Let us hope that there is a way out soon. Thank you, my brother. Thank you so very much. And now we go over to John, our dear host, the man who's made it possible today, our dear technical support. Dear John, it's your turn.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here and for including me. I apologize for the problems. I'll hopefully we'll do better next time. I have a short one for you about the responsibility that we in America carry for all this and so many other wars. Our dead are different from yours. 30 years ago, construction halted on I-279. Down from Penn Brewery and North Catholic, bones were found where Beckley Church had stood. 727 dead were sifted from the earth and cataloged while backhoes, pavers, politicians, and lawyers stood by. The Beckley remains were separated for burial and laid with a single marker. Present were scientists, reporters, and Dorothy Davies, baptized at Beckley Church 80 years before. No living relative was ever found, but the Beckley dead were on protected ground and respected. Last fall, the Standing Rock Sioux found sacred ground on the Dakota Access Pipeline path. Now their dead lay pulverized beneath an easement and 30-inch pipe cradled in cement.
Thank you. Thank you for that powerful poem. So much goes on in the name of development. Such massacre. Thank you so very much, dear John. And dear friends, I will quickly read a poem called Justice. I am sort of an outsider, though I am a student of European history. Anyways, this is written very much from the point of view of the beginning of war in Ukraine. It's called Justice. Radko Mladic and Radovan Karadzic are now in prison, serving for life for war crimes, and Slobodan Milosevic died there of a heart attack. But does it bring back the men mercilessly killed and dumped together in mass graves like sacks or bags? But it does bring some relief to the souls, if you believe in souls, and certainly some comfort to the women who survived gang rape and worse, molestation, and a sense of justice to history, but only a sense. Why is justice always served so late, after so much is lost and never in time, when ruin is still preventable? Why is punishment the most popular form of justice after so many have perished, so much lost? And why isn't justice done by timely intervention before the crime escalates, pain magnifies? What lesson is Ukraine going to teach to our generation? And what conclusion will history draw from it? Can we not decide it today? can we please not decide it today? Doesn't every country have a right to sovereign existence? So thank you, my friends. And thank you. Thank you so much. And I think we have somebody here, Nino. Do you want to read a poem? Then I'm very tempted to have even 5 minutes of discussion. I am going to request Dawn to please allow it. So Nino, do you want to read a poem?
I would like to read a short poem. I understand.
You've been muted. Unmute.
Am I unmuted now? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I will read a short poem, understanding the fact that we are short of time. I had prepared another one. This poem is dedicated to the Ukraine people to let them know that we understand and in a certain way feel their suffering. It is called Peace and Brotherhood. If only the human had the desire to be at peace, he would seek peace. If he had a pious heart and an open mind, he would ban hatred and violence. In danger is our world, but I believe that man can change things, and then he would discover on his sisters and brothers the face of God in every corner of the world. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for that powerful poem and so candid and so well put. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. And now I think we are at the end of the meeting. I think that I want to thank all of you and thank you especially to John. And before we end the live broadcast, I would just like to say that we strongly wish for peace. I don't want to make this into a ranting sound or to sound hollow or empty, but I do just hope that you understand everybody as, I mean, I hope that we too understand how big it is. You know, it's very hard to comprehend what's going on in Ukraine, but I hope that even Ukrainians understand that the world too wants to see them in a peaceful situation. And I hope that there is a way out. I hope that the world leaders can also hear us. And if there are poets again who want to say something about this, then very quickly, please go ahead. Okay, thank you.
Could I just say that over here in the UK, they've just been saber rattling even before the war to try and create a war situation. The news is so unbelievably biased. The hypocrisy is staggering. This is in the UK. Because a basic moral truism, if it's wrong for Putin to do what he's doing, it was wrong for us to go into Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya. And that's what is. There's a lot of anger about that at the moment here, you know. I'm part of the Stop the War coalition. And they should apply the same standards across the board, and that's not happening.
True. Right, my friend. Right. Yes, so please go ahead. I think Bob was. Bob, please go ahead.
Were you referring to me?
Yes, were you saying something? I thought you were saying something.
Well, look, I've been protesting these things since 1966. I've been beat up in civil rights marches. I totally agree that every war is wrong, and there is much blood on the hands of the United States. But it's not exclusive. We thought that World War II would end it. We thought that World War I would end it. I am still stuck, though. Everyone here knows the truth about how it's solved. But we have no power. We have power if we are in large groups. But in my country right now, 50% of the people are disagreeing with 50% of the people. It's essentially a civil war. People carry guns. It isn't the guns that bothers me, it's the attitude. It's the meanness. It is the greed. And I said in the chat, because there was a discussion about Kant, his whole philosophy was based on giving autonomy to everyone. That would be the good. In a sense, personal choice was what the existentialists believe. But now we're stuck in the same place the existentialists were with Nazi Germany. When one group decides, when one person decides to take away the autonomy of everybody else because that's their autonomous choice, what do you do? Gandhi was mentioned. That would require all of us essentially, although I don't think in the end he totally would agree with this, we would all have to be butchered by troops as we walk for salt, one after the other, until the pile is so large it sickens the shooters. Are we all willing to do that? Are we all willing to have our children do that? And if we do that, who's left? Good people? I'm in a conundrum. I want peace so desperate. I literally cry over it. Okay, I don't know what to do. I want peace. I always have. So I'm sorry if I said too much.
No, thank you. Thank you. You said very well. And thank you so much. Now this program has to end. Thank you, everybody, for sure. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Pankhuri.
Thank you, Pankhuri.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So important.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don.
Let me just say just one thing with a little bit of hope.
Good.
As individuals, we can write. We can write. And maybe it makes a difference, maybe it doesn't, but it's something we can do that. And we can write poems, but we can also write the truth. Like Xanthi was talking about, tell what you know, put it out there. It's helpful, even if it only helps incrementally one person or a few people. That's real. That makes a difference. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.